During the Reformation, many men came into the clergy, but they had limited training. Luther himself was a scholar and taught at the University of Wittenberg, where I'm standing right now. But as Luther had men coming into ministry, he realized that he had to create a device where he could train and teach. So he wrote what was called the Large Catechism for pastors and teachers. It was a very extensive Bible-based manual that he could hand out, and he covered really 6 areas. One was the 10 Commandments, another was the Lord's Prayer, another was the Creed, and then he talked about communion and baptism and confession of sin. And he produced this large catechism for pastors and teachers to train them to make sure they were all on the same page in their understanding of the Bible and its various teachings and the doctrine of salvation through faith in Christ. But then he realized that there was a need to create a small catechism. And the small catechism was primarily for parents and for their children. And it was a smaller version of the large catechism, not just in size, but in content, helping parents, trades, and raise their kids with an understanding of the Bible and the fundamental teachings of the faith. And so the catechism teaching exercise that Luther developed became a fundamental format for Christian schools and churches going forward. And many of them throughout Europe adopted the catechism structure to help pastors and teachers and parents teach children and adults about their faith. Luther was a father of Christian education. He saw the need to instill education about Jesus Christ with math and philosophy and grammar, because he thought it was essential that as you weave a person through the Christian faith, that you also help them understand the other basic fundaments of education. And so Luther became the father of education with a Christian spin, which really became the educational format for most of Europe until the middle of this last century. Christian education was at the heart of Luther. He was an educator, and he wanted to make sure that his church was fully grounded in faith and in the education.